Hey guys, Larry on the Bobby Roll here from the Gym Rat Pack with another video, and this is a review of the Netflix documentary Hall of Shame steroid scandal. So this is about the whole Balco Labs thing with Victor Conte. So if you're not aware, Victor Conte was the owner of Balco Labs in San Francisco, I believe. And he was involved in the administration of some designer steroids to various athletes from all over the world, from all different sports. One of them including our own Dwayne Chambers. Also Tim Montgomery, who was one of the focus points of this documentary. Load of baseball players, boxers. Shane Mosley was one of them, I think, as well. But yeah, he owned the Balco Lab. So basically, Balco Lab started off as they go into documentary of how Balco Lab started. Testing athletes for their blood parameters to make sure they're performing at optimum. Performing at optimum. And slowly but surely, he also started dabbling into over-the-counter supplements to help athletes, namely the ZMA, or the zinc and magnesium aspartate supplement that has now become really popular amongst athletes and the general public who exercise. It's meant to help you with your testosterone levels if you are deficient, and also help with sleep and stuff like that. But anyway, so he went down the supplement route, and then slowly but surely, he obviously found the connections to be able to then design a steroid that has never been designed before, so it can remain undetected by the anti-doping organizations. And that drug was called THG, tetrahydrogestrinone. And it was very successful. Like I said, the focal point of this documentary was about Tim Montgomery, who was actually married to Marion Jones, who also got caught up in this scandal as well. But I think Tim Montgomery was the only athlete really willing to be part of this documentary. So he talked about how he got started with Victor Conte and the improvements that he made while on the drugs, because it wasn't just the THG, there was also the Clear and the cream, which was testosterone cream with epitestosterone to evade tests. Yeah, they had a whole system in place. Victor Conte got him a bodybuilder called Milo Sarchev to help him with his strength training. He had a project world record, which he did break the world record. I remember that because I was still into my sprinting then. And then it all came crashing down with Trevor Graham, who was Marion Jones's coach, I think at that time as well. I don't know why he did it. Maybe he was jealous or whatever, but he then sent a sample of THG to the anti-doping authorities to let them know that this is the drug that Victor Conte's people are using. So then they were able to then develop a test for it and then call all these athletes, which again, like I said, one of them was our own sprinter, 100-meter sprinter, Dwayne Chambers, and various other athletes from baseball, boxing, as I said. Barry Bonds was also implicated. But it's funny because during that documentary, Victor Conte was continually talking about how he'd never supplied Barry Bonds with any performance enhancing drugs whatsoever. He said maybe he used it away from him, but he never supplied it. I don't know what to make of that, because while it seemed he was being quite transparent for that documentary, I don't know if he was, because Barry Bonds I don't think Barry Bonds was caught outright. Like, he didn't have any, he wasn't caught red-handed, should I say. He didn't fail any tests or anything like that. So I think it was a lot of. I don't even know if they found. I think they just saw Barry Bonds' name on some papers of his, but he could have been just doing tests for Barry Bonds. I don't believe so, but I'm just saying maybe there was a legal issue, and that's why he didn't want to implicate Barry Bonds in the documentary. But the people who were doing the documentary were adamant that obviously Barry Bonds may have tested. I can't remember, exactly. He may have tested positive for something that I don't know. But yeah, he then spoke about how obviously they threw a whole slew of charges at him at first, and then obviously it got whittled down to I think 1 or 2 charges in which he did a little time in prison. He came out, and obviously he's now involved in VADA, voluntary anti-doping organization. Still involved with the supplements and whatnot, and he helps a lot of boxers now. And he spoke about the toll it took on his family. His daughter, one of his daughters, was very prominent, and she in the documentary as well. And she was talking about how she met all these athletes, and she pretty much knew what he was doing and stuff like that. So it was really interesting, really interesting. Like I said, it spoke about some of the athletes, Marion Jones and stuff, but Tim Montgomery was the focal point. Because I think he was the only one willing to actually speak to the people who made the documentary. But I think it was a good watch because for some of the naive people, I don't think naive is a word now. I think stupid people still think there's no drugs in sport. There's very little drugs in sport. This will be an eye opener to see how easy not only is it to dope, but to find drugs that they can't test for. There's many permutations that could be made to the testosterone molecule. Thousands, in fact, that's never been done, that will yield, drugs with very good efficacy, which will not be able to test for, and I'm sure that's been happening for years now with all the fantastic performances we've been seeing from certain athletes. Wink, wink. So it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me if many designer drugs have been made throughout the years after Balco. You just need a chemist and have money to be able to pay the chemist to be able to do it. Funnily enough, the chemist that they used, Patrick Arnold, I've actually got him on my Facebook. So, and he always comes up with some little gems here and there. So, it's a very good watch. It's as good as some of the other sort of documentaries on performance enhancing drugs like Icarus. Give it a good watch. And if you have watched it, let me know what you thought of it. Leave some comments down below, please. Yeah.